What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Star Toys pedal, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale Loudpedal, a repaint of their version of Trax. So I did look at the original mold when it came out. I will bring that in later for comparison. And I did that one from robot to vehicle mode. So this time we're going to go from vehicle to robot mode. This was sent to me by Brian W. Thanks for taking a look at your copy. And it does have a nice flame here on the hood, yellow and red paint. It's a mix of painted parts and unpainted parts. So you got the hood is painted black. The pieces here on the side, you can see they're actually a little bit glossier. These two roof pieces are painted. And then this part, which is obviously the transparent plastic, is painted. And then back here, that has a different gloss as well. But then the sides are unpainted. And, I don't love the mix of gloss and non-gloss. It should have just been one finish. But because of all the different surfaces, it's got different finishes, which I'm not my favorite. It does have red for the taillights. You got the wings down here, obviously. Silver for the wheels. Good looking Corvette, but just mismatching colors. I do like the translucent purple for the glass. That looks nice. It does roll, but it's very little clearance. You have to have it transformed perfectly. Otherwise, these things rub, but it does roll in the current configuration I have it in. It's working. We do get the little blaster here, which you can plug into the front, and he can fire that. Pew pew. But that's more meant for the flight mode. And transforming into flight mode is actually kind of involved. So we're going to unpeg the wings from down here. That tab was right in there. Open this up. Bring this out. Same on the other one. Untab it. Open this up. And bring that out. We're going to rotate these. We're going to end up rotating these to the front. But right now they're going to sit there. We'll rotate it and attach it. We're going to unpeg this back section from here, the back bumper, and lift this up and get that out of the way. You can slide these rear quarter panels out, flip that back. On the inside, you'll find the tail fins. Fold those out. Those are painted nicely. And then bring that back down and tab those back in. Just give that a little push so you collapse this section. All right, leave that up because there's a lot more to do, unfortunately. So we'll unpeg the doors. The doors are really hard to get. Actually, maybe you didn't even notice. This side, I've got it perfect. You see it's tabbed in the front and the back. This side, I could not get this in. It's really, really tough. I'm not sure. I watched my own video for transformation, and in that video, I suggested, pulling these down and having those down before you tab these in. That didn't help me, so I don't know. I don't know what's up. It does feel a little bit more cheap, like cheaply made than the first one. The quality of the plastic, overall fit and finish, it just feels a little cheaper than the first time. But you're going to pull those down. That'll allow you to release these door pieces. Then bring this down and untap it from the front and the back there. It's tabbed in back here too. And come to the bottom, and we're going to pull out these arms. So untab it from here. Again, these tab into here, but they're kind of loose. They're barely holding on there. Open up this tire, is tabbed in right here. We'll rotate this past here. So bring the door in while you bring this out. And we got to get this rotated the other way. So what you're going to end up doing is flip open this panel. This will tab into the top. Like that. I don't know why I'm having trouble focusing today for some reason. But you're going to end up putting this up here with this rotated in. Bring that up. Doesn't sound great. The wheel will end up staying in the same position, but this will end up rotated up like that. Here's how it looks from the top. All right, this is going to tab in right here on the side of the door. It's not the most secure. You know, it's a little, this is a little loose. And then this will just fold down and sit right there. Oh, and I guess I forgot to fold in your rear view mirror. So it's going to sit like that on the outside of the wing. All right, so now that we got one, I'll do the other one. I'll try to do it a little bit quicker. Fold that in, fold this in, bring that around. Undo your wheel. Give you a little space to bring this out. Flip this around to the outside, tab that back in. And accordion this back. The plastic doesn't feel great, to be honest. Okay. All right, I think we've got it where we want it. This is actually frustrating, this piece right here. All right, so now that we have this, we can bring the wing pieces in. So bring this back down. This will clip back into the rear quarter panel. Get those both in. Make sure they stay tabbed in here. Come on. There we go. So that's how the back should look. Then you're going to bring this wing in, and this peg right here on the inside is going to tab right there on the inner wheel. So bring this over and get that tabbed in, and then the wing should be basically straight across the bottom, and the tire just sits right on top of the wing. All right, same on this side. We'll bring this in and tab that in. Straighten up the wing and bring the tire on top. And there is pedal in flight mode. I do have to say, I think the wings look really nice. I like the metallic red and metallic silver. A little bit of purple paint there. The stripe there, that all looks good. It's a good looking version of Loudpedal. I don't know if Loudpedal even had a flight mode in the original, but you have it here. So there you go. I don't think there's any storage for the weapon. I looked, I couldn't really find anything, but we can use that flight stand adapter. So right here is the spot that we had before. Get that pegged in, and then we'll bring in again our Takara flight stand. And this will just plug in right here. And there you go. There is pedal on the flight stand. It's all right. You know, it's not the best flight stand and not the best attachment to the flight stand, but it does look good in flight mode. I think it's kind of cool. For size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. Fits in perfectly with the Masterpiece scale. All right, for another comparison, there it is with the Takara Tomy Masterpiece Trex. And basically identical, exactly the same size. Maybe a little bit longer, but length, height, you know, pretty much the same. All right, now let's get them transformed into robot mode. And this is where things are not fun at all. But let's first take care of the wings. So unplug this from here. And actually, I ended up unplugging this, but rotate this back. Same on this, unplug this rotate this back. Since these came out, I might as well pull these out and rotate back. And rotate these wings back in. We're not going to be needing those. And we'll fold the wings over, I think. All right. Now we can unpeg this from here, lift that up. And we got to do some work down here. So come to the bottom. We actually already have the arms out since we went to flight mode, so that makes our job easier. And fold this out. Rotate this panel to the back of the arm. Actually, before we do that, we'll pull down on this. Hand out. And then close that back up. Should tab back in. And then flip this back to the back of the arm. Alright, same thing on this side. I'll do it again since that was pretty ugly. Flip this over, rotate the hand out. Bring this back down, tab it in. Rotate this back, tab it into the back of the arm. On the back of the arm, you'll find this little panel, which kind of locks the arm from bending there. We can rotate this panel out of the way. We have to detach all this, so we'll do that in a second. Again, fold that panel up, and we just close that down. Leave the wheels unplugged right now because we're going to end up having to unplug this. Come to the bottom. We'll take these doors, extend them down like this. Leave the rear view mirrors down there. All right, let's take care of this roof and front section. So we want to get this hood popped up. You can kind of push back there, lift up on this, pull back on this. It'll unplug the front windshield from the side windows. And just leave that up and out of the way. We'll lift up on these. These are on double hinges. They're a little hard to work with, but you should be able to unplug them from down there and accordion them up on the double hinges. There we go. There's one. And this one likes to pop off, but no big deal. We can just get that attached back again. So we'll come to here. Untab the legs from each other. It's tight. There we go. Open up this panel right here. And perhaps your panels have already come loose, but I'll help to loosen up some things. Then we'll come to the bottom. I'm going to rotate this panel this way. So you have the open side down. Lift this up and pull this up. Pull that in. And we have to unaccordion this leg from in here. It's a very tight fit. You got to get this past here. Not the easiest. There we go. And then we're going to rotate the thigh piece. Yeah, there's a lot of clearance issue here, but I want to rotate this thigh piece out of the way. So rotate this to the side and then tab it in here. So there's very little tolerance here. We're going to come to the back here. There's a little panel there. So we want to grab that, lift this up, and then rotate this down. And bring that across. Here's how we're looking. Open up this little panel. There's actually a little tab to grab on the inside. In here you'll find a little rotating panel. I see a lot of like little plastic pieces down here. Like, yeah, not the best quality. All right, so yeah, this is going to sit right here. We'll bring this down. This will tab in on the side. I'm going to open this up and clip that into place. Push that down. It's on a slider here. This will flip up. This will flip up and tab in right here. And that's one leg. Gosh, this thing is not fun at all. All right, so go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to do that. Try to do it relatively quickly and smoothly. Bring this out. On accordion the leg, being careful with the foot. Bring this panel to the front. Tab that in. Bring that down. We'll rotate the toe, which I forgot to do. Bring up this panel right here. Grab a spudger because you're going to need it to grab this circular piece. Put that back down. Bring this over. Oh, and we got to do this on the back. Don't forget about that. Grab that panel, bring it around. Rotate to the front and bring it down. Bring this over. Slide it in here. Tab it in here. Bring up your foot. Oops, and that didn't do good. There we go. Tab it in, slide it in, clip that in. All right, here's how we're looking. And I'm going to get the legs lined up with the hip skirts again. I had it a little bit off there. Then we can bring the waist back down so it's straight with the chest. And we got the lower legs done. It's not the hard part though, unfortunately. All right, we got to take this and bring out the head. So bring this down. And we're going to rotate the head from inside here. It's a little tricky to get it out, but I'm going to get this slid forward. There we go. And then rotate around on this panel. This will come down. And we'll bring that panel down, bring the head panel up. So tight. Does not feel good. There we go. All right, we got the head in place. We got the legs in place. We got to take care of the arms and the backpack. Arguably the hardest part. We're going to rotate this. This is on a slider. You're going to push it in. Let's see. Rotate this and then bring it down. You can plug that wheel back in. All right, now we'll take care of this backpack piece with the missiles. This whole sequence is tricky and also needs to be in perfect sequence. So go ahead and pull these out of here. You might need a spudger or something. Fold out these pieces. And we will lift up on this. Flip this over. On this side, we're going to lift this up, but don't push it all the way up because you want to flip these around. And it may help to bend this panel up, but flip this around. Then rotate this up. You need these to be bent on these two hinges. There's two separate hinges. I'll show you when I get it all the way over. Now that it's over, you can fold in that hinge. It's really I don't know, it's a frustrating sequence. Come to here, flip out this missile piece. You might need a spudger or something to grab it. Bring this down. This will tab in and close up the missile. Same thing on this side. Open up this missile piece. Bring this down. Tab that in. And then again, you need a spudger to grab this right here. So fold that up. That'll line up with this green and red here. And we've taken care of the missile pod. It's really annoying. Rotate this around 180 degrees on this hinge. So bring it to the other side. We want to bring the head down. You'll see there's two tabs on the back of the head. And that's going to go into two clips back here on the backpack. So bring this up, bring this gray piece back. Give you a little bit of angle. And this will plug in here. And that'll also clip the head in place so you can't pull that neck panel up. All right, here's how we're looking. On the back here, we want to bring in these arm pieces. So rotate this back. There's a tab right here. This is actually going to hinge in this way. So line up that tab as best as you can. And then push in on this. It'll slide in. See, with this one, bring this in. Push in and tab it in down there. All right, it should end up underneath that front windshield piece on both sides. Phew, okay, come to the back here. These two doors are going to sit in a little groove right here on the gray piece. So bring these down and they'll just clip in right there. Hopefully you can see that. Back here, this hood will come up. This tab goes into a slot. Actually, maybe I can show you right there. There's a slot. And there's also a slot for the hood to fit between these two side pieces. So you got to get that up there. Get that tab in. Not easy to do because you can't really see what you're doing. Got it. Then you're going to bring this around. Make sure this clip goes around the hood. It's, again, easier said than done. Helps if you hold that piece of the hood in so it can work its way past there. All right. I think I got it. Yeah, you can see the hood is underneath there. Trying to show you the best I can, but I'm not doing the greatest job. All right. Bring this up, tab it in right here. This will rotate. There's a little tab right there, and you'll feel it lock into position. That's the right position. Same with this one, tab that in, rotate this up until you feel that tab get in position. Come to the front, you can adjust all this. All right, there is pedal in robot mode. And what a nightmare transformation. But it looks really nice. You know, the robot mode looks great. I actually think the robot looks better than the vehicle mode. You've got this metallic purple, metallic red here on the center. Obviously needs a Decepticon logo. We got metallic green and red on the arms, white and red for the waist, metallic blue, metallic red, metallic purple, and green. Face is done in the teal with red eyes. Silver for the wings. That all looks nice. And I guess I didn't have this plugged in all the way. Here's the back. Pretty clean. You know, if you do this the correct transformation with the hood, you get a nice clean backpack. You know, robot mode definitely is the advantage of the two. Just getting here is not fun at all. Let's go over the articulation. And just a heads up, I did have to put some shock oil in the neck panel. It was just so tight I couldn't even move the head. Now it's okay. It goes down to there, back to there, side to side, rotates around. You do have a lift up hinge on this, you know, neck panel, so you get way up to there and way down to there. So extra hinge there in the neck. These can also articulate here on the top. The wings can articulate forward and backward, so you can get kind of like an angled look if you want. Shoulders right around on a mushroom peg. You have a rotation here at the bicep. It is way too tight. That's another one that needs some shock oil. I'll probably do that for Brian. 90-degree bend at the elbow. Rotation at the wrist. You have the bottom 3 fingers are connected, and then the top one is a separate, but it's curled, so it doesn't really do much good. And then the thumb is on a hinge, folds out to there. Not the best hands, in my opinion. We get a waist swivel here. A little bit caught up here, but it works. Ab crunch gets you down to there. You have the legs move with the hip skirt back to there. Legs go back to there. You can't get it like misconfigured like that, so just if you do, hold the hip skirt and then put it back in position. You have outward movement up to there. Rotation at the thigh, a little too tight. Squeaky, squeaky. On universal. 90-degree bend at the knee. This panel sometimes pops out, but works. Ankle tilts out to there. Forward and backward gets down to there. It should stop it. Like it should have a stopper right here. It doesn't. The original one, the tracker, it did have a stopper that worked there. As far as accessories, we get his blaster done in this silver paint. That looks really nice. Nice sculpt to it as well. And we can pull back on this to get the handle a little bit more accessible. The tab is only on one side, so you can only put it on this side if you actually want to tab it into the hand. This is the hand it'll go in. So get that pegged in first, and then you can close up the fingers, and then you can slide this back. And that's a good looking gun, and it works well. That's pretty nice. We can still use the stand adapter here, and this will fit. It's actually the same spot, like right here underneath the crotch. This will tab in. It's a little difficult to get this in here, just like it was for vehicle mode. It's a very tight fit, plastic into die cast, but that will take in there, and you can have him in like a flying pose or whatever. He is a flying character after all, but yeah, there you go. For a size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime, and it fits in nicely with the Masterpiece scale, same size as other Carbots. And like I've been doing recently, I'm going to give you a height and weight. So to the top of the head, we've got 6¼ inches, just under 6¼ to the top of the backpack. Basically 7 inches, 7¼ to the top of the missiles. And for a weight, he's kind of a lighter figure. 5 ounces, 5 5/8 ounces, or for our international folks, 161 grams. So pretty light figure. Just for comparison, the side swipe I just looked at from Fans Toys was almost double the weight of this guy. But it does look good here in robot mode. And for another comparison, there it is with the Star Toys tracker, the original version of their version of tracks. And you can see all the differences. Primary difference being the head sculpt. Everything else, I believe, is the same. Oh, and the weapon, right? He's got a new gun. and a head. That's really it. Everything else is identical. One thing I did notice, and I mentioned it during the transformation, is they got rid of these metal bars that kind of hold the backpack up. I guess they realized it's just a nuisance, right? It doesn't really help anything. Just kind of gets in the way. So they did change the design a little bit, right? But overall, it's pretty close, pretty much the same, other than the head and the gun. So final recommendations on the Star Toys pedal. I think I'm going to have to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. Overall, I think the robot mode is the highlight of this, right? It looks really nice with the metallic paints, and overall the finish and the weapon and the overall look of this guy, I think you get a nice Masterpiece scale, a Loudpedal. Where this thing is weak is obviously the transformation is not fun at all. It's just as bad as the original, probably worse actually, because it feels like some of the plastic is maybe a little less, the tolerances aren't right. Specifically the doors, getting that fitted in, some of the pieces and the arms, just felt a little cheap, and this is a $45 figure, so I kind of understand, like, they just put something out there and we're like, hey, we're going to give you a Masterpiece Loudpedal for $45, right? I think vehicle mode is definitely weak. The mismatched blacks, especially with the painted and unpainted surfaces, it stands out to me. I can tell. The translucent purple for the glass looks good, but like overall, I think the vehicle mode is the weaker mode. Flight mode is fine, but I think the vehicle mode is just could have stood to use more paint. So if you're planning to get this, I think you'll be happy displaying this in robot mode. If you decide to transform it, you're going to be pulling your hair out. I definitely got frustrated with the transformation, and the vehicle mode is not even worth it to get there. So recommend just keeping this in robot mode if you pick this up. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Brian W. We'll see you next time.